So you're thinking of making a move to the greater Lansing area. You've been a little frustrated with some of the things that you've been seeing as far as homes for sale, and you're wondering, should I maybe do new construction so I can kind of find what I want? Well, in this video, I am going to share with you all the tips that you need to know before you buy a new construction home. I'm even going to be talking to you about some stories that I've had with new construction experience, and also be sure to stay tuned until the end because the last one, it's honestly the most important and people do not even think through it at all. It amazes me. So we're going to get started with this next episode of Lansing, Michigan Life right now. Hey everybody, Troy Seifert here with the Capital Area Real Estate Specialist in the greater Lansing, Michigan area. And I'm a local realtor in the area, top producing agent, and I get phone calls all the time from people who are just like you watching this channel, people from all over the country, even around the world, who are looking to buy or even sell a home in the greater Lansing area. So if that's you and you're looking to potentially buy or sell here in the area, I would love to be able to talk with you, whether that's 9 days from now, 90 days, or even 9 months, which is how long sometimes a new construction home can take. So all my contact information is in the description below. You can call me, text me, email me, or schedule a Zoom call. I would love to be able to talk with you and just discuss all things real estate and what your real estate goals are. And if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, or ring the bell for notifications so you can be the first to be notified when a brand new episode of Lansing, Michigan Life goes live. And I have new episodes going live once or twice a week, so you're not gonna wanna miss out on those notifications. All right, so I am doing a video on new construction. I do have a little bit of a shout out I have to do. I'm not gonna mention names, but somebody just even recently said to me, hey, when are you gonna be doing that video on new construction? And you who is watching, or you who are watching right now, you know who you are. This is a shout out to you because I'm officially doing this. I'm talking about new construction, the things to know, what you need to know in the greater Lansing area. And again, stay tuned till the end because I have a story where I've saved somebody $200,000 that they had to bring to the table. So again, you don't want to miss the end. So, first thing that you need to know about new construction in the greater Lansing area. This is kind of a basic one, but you would be surprised. You gotta know your budget. You gotta know your budget, and part of that is the education of knowing the area. So in the greater Lansing area, if you were to look for a 2-story new construction home, it would cost at least on average $200 per square foot. That's on the low end. If you want some upgrades, it's gonna be a little bit higher than that. If you want a ranch home, that's gonna bump up to $300 a square foot. I always get the question all the time from people, whoa, why are ranches more? Like, why is it a lot more to be able to purchase a ranch? Well, a lot of it has to do with the dimensions of a ranch. If you think about it, you could have an 1,800 square foot ranch that you have to build the foundation based upon an 1,800 square foot perimeter. Lots of times with a 2-story, you start with less on the bottom floor and then you just double that up, which can create for more above grade square footage, but your foundation size is smaller. So the more you know, you probably didn't know that, of the reason why ranches can be so expensive sometimes. The other part too, especially in real estate, why ranches are expensive is they're just more marketable. There's more people that like to buy ranches. You have people of all ages that would love to buy a ranch home as opposed to a 2-story. If you have somebody that has limited mobility, that could be a problem. So you definitely do market to more people with a ranch home. So I encourage you to know your budget because if you were looking, if your goal was getting a 3-bed, 2.5 bath house, and you wanted at least 2,000 square feet, okay? So 2,000 square feet for a 2-story house, you'd be looking at a minimum of $400,000 to be able to have that house. If you wanted a ranch home with 2,000 square feet on the main floor, that would be $600,000 at least. You also have to know, hey, do I want a finished basement? Because if I have a finished basement, that's going to add more to my per square footage cost. It's gonna add $50 per square foot for the amount of finished square footage that you would have in the basement. So if you did 1,000 square feet finished in the basement, maybe with a bedroom and a bathroom in it, that would be roughly another $50,000 to $60,000 to finish that off. Again, know your budget, know how much you are able to spend, and have a realistic picture of that. So if you're wanting a ranch home, but your budget's $400,000, guess what? Your ranch home's gonna look like 1,300 square feet on the main floor, if that, depending on what type of finishes you have. It's not gonna be a very large home. So keep that in mind when looking for new construction in the area. Okay, number 2, know your checklist. And what I mean by know your checklist, know your must-haves and start prioritizing them. When you are looking to do a new build, you get to choose the floor plan, you get to choose your finishes, you get to know, you get to have a wish list, okay? But what I encourage you to do, know what you want and prioritize those things of how important they are to you. You could be like, I would love this, but if I don't get it, it's not the end of the world. And the reason I say that is because you're probably not gonna get everything you want. Because until you sit down with that consultant from the building company about, hey, what would you like? And they start clicking things. And I've seen this happen before with clients. You say, oh yeah, I want this finish. Oh yeah, I'd like this. Oh yeah, that would be nice. You start saying all these things and then they say, okay, well this is how much it's going to be. Your jaw will drop to the floor probably. I can't believe it. So then you have to know, all right, what can I do if it's way too high? What can I do to minimize the cost? Because you're going to have sticker shock that first meeting, I guarantee it to you. A lot of people think that building a home is a lot cheaper than what it really is. So knowing your checklist and knowing what you need to prioritize, again, is going to be important. I know I'm sounding a little bit more like a counselor or some, maybe not a realtor, but I'm telling you, this is just good sound advice for you as you're starting to look through this process, okay? Number 2, know your checklist. Number 3, not all builders in the Lansing area are the same. Not all builders are the same. So I encourage you, when you are scoping out who you want to use, there are companies that have their name out there. We have Eastbrook, Mayberry, we have CVE Homes, we have Allen Edwin, we have Jagier Homes, we have Schroeder Homes, we have Fedewa Homes as well. Then we have some more custom builders like Tom Moats or Fred Moats in the DeWitt area. We have other custom builders, Chris Goodrich. I mean, I'm starting to list a lot of these off. You have Key Builders, which is a very custom builder. It's gonna be the most expensive builder in the entire greater Lansing area. So, you gotta know your budget, know your checklist, but some builders, like you're gonna see, some of the prices are cheaper. Why are they cheaper? Because probably the quality of the construction isn't as good. So check out the reviews from people, see what their experiences are, and I'm gonna sound a little redundant here, but realtors are gonna know who are the reliable, who are the reliable builders. What builders are using 2x6 construction instead of 2x4? What builders are using spec homes, like just the bare bones minimum, and what places give you a lot of the upgrades and a good value for your buck. So what places give you a 1-year warranty? I think all of them give you a builder's warranty, but what places give you a structural warranty, like a 10-year structural warranty? Not every place does that. So it's knowing what the perks are with each and every one. And you do need some counsel in that when moving to here, because there's a lot of different builders, lots of different floor plans. Number 4, very important. It's not all about the price. It's not all about the price. What do I mean by that? So there are some builders that already have a built home or they have a proposed build. You'll look on Realtor.com, Zillow.com. It'll say a 2025 proposed new build. And you'll see the price. You'll be like, wow, like this is great. Like this is a much cheaper price than this other guy who has it at, like this is at $350 and this other one's at $600,000. Okay, so why is there such a difference? Part of it can due to location and area, but a lot of it has to do with the quality of materials. So the thing that you have to realize is that some places, like when they have it built, they might have the landscaping included, they might not. Some places might have a finished basement in there that's already included in the price, and some of them might not. Some of them might have very basic finishes and they don't have granite countertops, and their flooring is extremely cheap, and the windows are extremely cheap as well. So I'm going to kind of tell you a story. There's a neighborhood in our area. They are kind of done building, but they're in East Lansing, and they built a lot of the homes extremely close together, okay? And people were able to get these homes for a very affordable price. But here's the thing, as time went on and we started selling these homes that were built, the windows started having seals that were broken on several of them. So people that, when I was going to a listing presentation and looking to list these homes, they're like, you know, either A, they replaced all the windows in a newer, like a 10 to 15 year house, or they were getting ready to replace the windows, or their windows looked horrible, okay? So again, paying attention to price, you just have to kind of know, like the builders, the square, there's a lot of different factors that are going in here, right? So I am sounding a little redundant here, but it all kind of goes together. So another thing that happened in that same neighborhood with the windows is that they built the homes so close together that the sun beat down on the siding, and the siding then reflected onto the neighbor, like it would beat down on the window. And then you know what happens with a magnifying glass on glass, or on grass. Magnifying glass on grass. You know what happens with that, right? Like all of a sudden, like little fires can start developing. Well, people would have burn spots in their siding, and people were realizing this. And again, that builder, like you had small lots that were built close together. That's probably why they were cheaper as well. Some cheaper materials like the windows. And so these people had to pay like a decent amount out of pocket for some of these things, to get some of these things replaced, like maybe get newer siding or get like a protector on their window so that the sunlight from the glass wouldn't reflect on their neighbor's siding. I mean, guys, like I'm not making this up, true story. So don't always focus so much on the price. I know it's really easy to do it, but don't always focus so much on that. Number 5, a thing for you to know is that it can take 6 months to a year to be able to buy a home. Now, there are some places that say, hey, we have your home ready to go, or we could do it in 3 or 4 months. Guess what? Those 3 or 4 month places don't have quality construction. So you gotta be okay with that, hey, it's a cheaper price. You kind of get what you pay for. But B, some of these people have these listings ready to go. Like they built this house in anticipation that someone would build it. It hasn't sold, so they're waiting for it to sell. So yeah, you can move right into some of these. Great option. So it might even take less than that. But if you're gonna sit down with a consultant and be like, I wanna build my own floor plan with my own finishes, this is what I would like to do, then it could take 6 months to a year, depending on where they're at in the process, okay? So number 6 with what to know with new construction. Next thing I encourage you to do is to get with a local lender. When you get a new construction home, you need to get with somebody who is local in the greater Lansing area. One of the lenders that I use is in the description below, so you can contact him. But there are different loan products that you can have. There's a new construction loan that you can use that will pay the builders a draw as the construction progresses, okay? That's very common. But there could be some other products that could be used that could save you a little bit on interest rates or whatnot. So getting with a local lender is imperative. Also, the builders in the area will only work with certain lenders because they can trust them. And those are usually local lenders in our area. So you want to get with a reputable local lender when you're trying to do a new construction loan. And realtors, like we're going to have the connections to know that. The builders as well will tell you, hey, we work with these banks. So be prepared that you will be using a lender that is very specific to the Lansing area. Number 7, know your future goals before you buy. Know your future goals. And what I mean by that is before you do the new construction, you need to have an idea in your head of, am I gonna be here for 1, 2, 3 years? Am I planning on being in Lansing for 5, 6, 7 years? I mean, I do know, like, things are outside of our control. We have no idea what's gonna happen, right? But sometimes it's good to have a plan to be like, hey, are we looking to move in a few years? Or are we looking in moving in 10 years? The reason I say that is if you are looking to potentially move in 1 or 2 years and you just want to get into something, I would highly, highly, highly discourage you from getting a new construction home. The reason why is because when you are getting this home, you are paying top dollar for the cost to build that home at that time. And I just had a client that I sold their house last year. They did not go through me to build their house, but they built a new ranch house. They did a lot of finishes in it, and they told me like how much they had into it, and I looked at the comparables to list their home, and I'm like, you guys, like, this is the absolute top that I can list this at. This is the tippy top of where I would list it at, and they still were going to have to bring some money to the table. They were going to lose money. I think people think in a real estate market like, oh, the market's hot. Even if I stay there for a year or two, I'm gonna gain all this appreciation on new construction and then I'll just be able to pay it off. That's not the case because there is still a divide between new construction costs and a used homes cost. There is quite a bit of a space between those. And so you are paying sometimes even like above what you would pay in a normal market to be able to get some of these homes. So be very aware of that you might have to bring money to the table if you get this new construction home if you're only planning on being here 2 or 3 years. Something for you to keep in mind. Number 8, this is a big one. New construction prices are usually not negotiable. If you're gonna sit down with a consultant and you're gonna be, saying like, hey, I'd like to get this house, and they come up with a price, this ain't like the normal real estate market where, hey, maybe this is negotiable and we can do this. The price they give you is the price it's typically going to be. The only times I see price reductions are when there's a house that has been sitting on the market for like 6 months to a year that's a new construction. And believe you me, I could show you ones that are brand new constructions that are still sitting there and they haven't sold, which is telling you how expensive it is to get these homes, okay? I'm not lying when I say like you are paying top dollar for this. And you can maybe, depending on how desperate the builder is, you can maybe negotiate a little bit off of that, but typically they stick with the figure that they have. They are not negotiable. So don't go in there thinking like, oh, maybe I can get them down, because you're not gonna have any luck, okay? And the last thing I said is the most important, right? The last thing is this. Use a realtor, use a realtor, use a realtor. You're like, gee, thanks, Troy. You have no bias when you say that, right? I mean, duh, it's like my job. But I'm telling you, and I have a really good story to tell you at the end. So, don't turn this off now and be all ticked that this was the last one, okay? I have a really good story to point out to you. But a comparison I want to give you with a realtor is think that you're going to a place like on a cruise, okay? Cruises, and I've been on cruises too, like you've never gone on one or it's been a long time. You have no idea about anything. Do you know how many travel agents there are out there who can help you out and kind of tell you everything you need to know and help you be prepared? There are so many travel agents out there. And guess what? When you book those things, you do not pay anything extra at all. One of my favorite places to go, and I have this mug up here, is Animal Kingdom Lodge at Disney World. I love being able to stay there. And I know Disney World so well that I don't have to have a travel agent, but when I go there, like, man, if somebody who's going there for the first time needs to have a travel agent. They need somebody who's going to give them the tips that they need to know. And again, when they book through somebody through Disney World, they don't have to pay anything extra. And in fact, some places give you a credit. It can sometimes be a little bit cheaper. So it's like, well, duh. Why not use a travel agent to help you travel if it costs you nothing more? It's the same way with a realtor. It doesn't cost you anything more to use a realtor. Remember I said prices are usually not negotiable? You can't go in there and say, well, I don't have a realtor. Can you cut my cost because I'm not using a realtor? You know what the builder's gonna tell you? They're gonna say, no, it's still the same price. So why not have somebody who's a representative be there for you? A great story where I saved somebody $200,000. It was a new build, and he did a custom build. He built it on 80 acres, a 4,200, I wanna say, square foot home, very large 2-story home. So he used his lender that he used, and the appraisal came in, and he gives me a call and he says, Troy, the appraisal came in for my new build and it came in $200,000 short. So I said to him, hey man, let me see the appraisal. Okay, let me take a look at it. So I looked at the appraisal. I see appraisals all the time. I was like, they shouldn't have used this one. They shouldn't have used this one. And it was wrong. Like, the appraisal was wrong. And I said to him, look, I have somebody who's a lender who will probably be able to reevaluate it. You'll be able to have a new appraisal, and I can't guarantee anything to you, but I bet they're going to, it's going to be more favorable, because otherwise he would have to bring an additional $200,000 to the close table. So he said, all right, I'll go ahead and do it. I'll trust you. So we go ahead with this new bank. Appraisal comes in. You guys, the appraisal came in $50,000 above what his price was, for a difference of $250,000. A difference of $250,000. It's insane, okay? I was involved with it. I helped him move through that. There are realtors that will be able to get on whoever the contractor is or whoever the project manager is on site. They can be like, hey guys, what's taking so long on this? Because maybe you have a deadline that you have to make to be able to get in the house. They can be on them. They can check the status updates. There are other things that realtors are good for. And also, a lot of people think, because builders won't tell you this, when your house is complete, it is a good thing to be able to get an inspection from a third-party source, like somebody who's not involved with the construction process. Get an inspector, get them in there, evaluate everything. I had somebody that bought, it was a model home. Okay, it was a model home, it was already completed. We did the inspection, and there were still like 20 or 30 things that came up that they had to fix, such as the grading. The grading wasn't right. I mean, there were things that had to be done, so guess what? The construction company did it. And again, a realtor was involved in the process. The construction company might not love all the time having a realtor involved, because we are gonna be on them, we're gonna give them advice for things. It could make the process a little bit hard, but we're here to represent you as a client, right? So again, use a realtor, use a realtor, use a realtor. And with that, we end our episode on new construction. I appreciate you guys watching this, taking the time to listening to my advice here. Hopefully it was helpful to you. And if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, or ring the bell for notifications, or even drop a comment letting me know like what questions you might have on new construction. I would love to be able to hear from you that way. Also, if you are looking to move here, you have some questions on new construction, and you're looking to move here 6-9 months from now, or you've been thinking about this for a while, please contact me at the information below. My phone number's in there, call, text me, email address is in there, so email me or schedule a Zoom call with me, and I would love to be able to talk with you. So until next time, you guys, I appreciate each and every one of you watching. So until next time, make it a great day.